Let me ask you a question. How much information do you think a human is actually designed to handle in a single day? Is our Earthling species really built for unlimited information? Are we built for seeing hundreds, maybe thousands of faces, headlines, opinions, crises before we even finish our coffee? And if not, then what happens to our earthly avatars, our bodies, when we blow past this invisible limit day after day? I'm Erica, and here on Earth School Navigation, I explore how humans have always navigated this planet, digging into old wisdom, forgotten structures, and lived experience while translating it into grounded practices for modern life. And today I want to offer a reframe on this technological age we find ourselves living in. The modern problem isn't screens or technology. The fact that we can access information from any part of the world is actually kind of incredible. The problem is uncontained attention. We are the first culture in history that treats attention like it's infinite. Humans, earthlings, our ancestors have always known that attention needs protection. We're just the first ones pretending it doesn't. Stay with me and make sure you hit the subscribe button because by the end of this episode, I'll share 6 simple structural practices you can use to protect your attention and your nervous system without deleting all your apps, moving into the woods, or having monk level discipline. Ancient cultures assumed that attention needed boundaries in the same way that we assume sleep or food do. They didn't have to limit screens, but they did limit stimulation, speed, the flow of information, access to novelty, and even who was allowed to speak into the psyche. In other words, they treated attention as something sacred. It was structured, held, and contained, not left endlessly open the way it is now. For most of human history, news traveled slowly. Stories were repeated instead of being infinite, and true novelty was rare. Because of that, the nervous system had time to digest meaning, integrate emotion, and return to baseline. Today, we might call that dopamine regulation, but they simply called it normal life. And not everyone had equal access to your inner world. Elders, teachers, priests, and storytellers acted as gatekeepers of meaning compared to now, where now, everybody speaks, everything competes, and almost nothing is filtered. I am not saying that that is good, bad, right, or wrong. I am pointing out that this is a massive shift in how human attention is or isn't protected. Almost every ancient culture divided time into different kinds of time. You can see this in Sabbath, in the Hebrew traditions, and festival days versus ordinary work days, in monastic hours marked by bells, and in agricultural seasons of work, rest, and waiting. There were non negotiable periods where no work was done, no new information was consumed, and attention was turned inward or toward community. This is our ancestors' version of no screens at night, except it wasn't a self help tip, it was cultural. Ancient people didn't fill every gap with noise because many believed too much input fragmented the soul. They understood that attention has capacity, and when you exceed it, you don't just feel a little tired, you become fragmented, anxious, and unable to process what you're taking in. This is what I'm seeing happen today. So, what do we do with that wisdom in a world that is now in the information age? The good news is we don't have to abandon technology or reclaim what our ancestors knew. The most effective solutions are structural, not willpower based, and they mirror what ancient cultures did naturally. Here are 6 simple structural practices that you can use to protect your attention and your nervous system. Think of these as reintroducing boundaries, not restricting yourself. And by doing this, you will function better. First, create what I like to call sacred time. No optimization required. Ancient cultures protected time. We can too. Choosing one small, non negotiable block each day that is completely screen free. I'm an early morning riser, right? My husband will tell you that my mornings are my sacred time. He will not try to have important or heavy conversations with me during this time. I will not be picking up your phone calls or answering emails or looking at social media. I avoid screens altogether during this time. I make this time super yummy, often doing things like starting the day by candlelight and super soft, slow living. And it's my absolute most favorite, most relished time of the day. Maybe your sacred time is in the morning. Maybe it's when you put your kids down for a nap. Maybe it's the last 45 minutes before you go to bed. Carve it out and make it beautiful. Treat it as off limits, not optimal. Make the others in your household or in your life aware of this sacred time and how much it means to you. This works because your nervous system relaxes when it knows there's a guaranteed pause coming. You can even anchor it with a simple phrase like, nothing is required of me during this time. I used to say things like that all the time. Say it out loud if you need to. I used to do that and it really helped. Let your system hear it. Next, separate input from rest. Ancient people didn't reset while consuming information. Rest was rest. So, a simple modern version of this could be no phones while laying down or no scrolling in bed. If you're going to consume content, sit upright, make it intentional. This creates a clean line between receiving information and actually resting. I rarely scroll on social media while in bed. I want my bed to be associated with deep rest, not associated with all that comes with a phone. Over time, our bodies start to learn rest equals safety, not stimulation. My bed becomes a place my system associates with winding down, not catching up. This promotes good sleep hygiene, which you can learn more about in my episode titled Sleep Like Your Ancestors. Third, limit novelty, not access. The problem isn't information itself, it's endless newness. So instead of trying to quit everything, try narrowing the funnel. Pick one or two trusted voices for things like news or learning. Give yourself permission to reread, rewatch, and revisit things you already know and love. Ancient wisdom traditions were repetitive on purpose. Repetition stabilizes the psyche. This is why rewatching a show you've seen a million times feels comforting. Your system isn't bracing for surprise. It's able to relax because it knows what's coming, because it's familiar. Fourth, build daily silence. I used to be someone who couldn't handle silence or stillness, and now I relish in it. I crave it. Silence used to be normal. Now it's like radical. Choosing one activity per day to do in silence, walking, doing the dishes, showering, driving, no podcast, no music, no multitasking. This isn't deprivation, it's integration. It gives your mind a chance to file away everything you've already taken in. And if silence feels unbearable at first, as it used to be for me, that's not failure. That's really, really good information. You're just noticing the speed your system is used to. And I have a lot of tools for this in my episode titled Falling Behind Winter Pace. Fifth, use friction instead of discipline. Ancient limits were baked into daily life. Ours aren't. So we have to add a little bit of friction ourselves. That might look like keeping your phone out of reach at night, logging out of apps instead of, deleting them, or turning off notifications for everything except actual humans. I do not have many notifications on my phone. I just don't at all. I don't want to see all that. It's a system overload. Friction works better than self-control. You're designing your environment so you don't have to fight yourself all day long. And finally, sixth, choose one attention Sabbath. This is the most powerful practice, and it's one that I personally love. Pick one evening, one morning, or even just a half day per week with no social media. If you can't do once a week, do every other week. And if that's too much, then do this once a month. Let that Sabbath time be for your actual body, your actual home, your actual people in your life. I call this my homesteading days, which are very slow living and spiritual for me, where I let myself move slowly, cook, do creative projects in my home, read, stare out the window. I tell my nervous system the world can wait. This alone can dramatically change your baseline anxiety, not because the world got calmer, but because you gave your attention a place to rest. I love these days so much, and the people in my life know I have these days, and they've just gotten used to it. None of this is about fixing yourself. It's about giving your very human attention a safer container in this very modern, very technological age. Start small, pick one of these, and then come back and tell me how it felt. And if you want more of these ancient structured experiments for our modern times, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Have a good week.